Good morning, councillors.
Morning.
We'll just open the meeting at 9:45 a.m. and thank you for your attendance, and we'll just adjourn for some more papers.
1:37. Okay, have we got any conflicts to declare?
You're calling item C1, are you? Is that?
C1? Yeah.
Well, C1, any conflict, C1,
Yes, I have a conflict. And so this is for item C1. The description is function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. I am the declaring council. The related party is the Roma Rural Student Hostel Committee. The relationship category, the committee has made application to council for assistance with a project. The particulars of the interest are that I am the chair of the executive of the Roma Rural Student Hostel Committee. The particulars are in relation to the facilities function line 2 upgrade of driveway Roma Rural Student Hostel, presently on page 16. The type of conflict is a prescribed conflict of interest, and the action that I'll be taking is to leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Have a conflict?
Councillor Taylor?
I also have a conflict in C1, functions report, laboratory, airport, quarries, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. The declaring councillor is myself, Wendy Taylor. The entity is the Roma Rural Student Hostel Committee. The committee has made application to council for assistance with a project. I am an executive of the Roma Rural Student Hostel Committee. The particulars are in relation to the facilities function line 2, upgrade of the driveway Roma Rural Student Hostel, presently page 16. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, so I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I have a conflict. On item C1, description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. I'm the declaring councillor. Related party or close associate others, identity is Mitchell RSL and Combined Sports Club. The committee has made application to council for assistance with the project.
Too much rum in it.
Particulars of the interest, I'm the president of the Mitchell RSL and Combined Sports Club. The particulars in relation to the facilities function line 4, Mitchell RSL's upgrade of toilets, ceiling, roof, air conditioning and painting. Community organisation has applied for funding to upgrade air conditioning. Other works need to happen as part of the air conditioning upgrade in response to community complaint. Presently on page 16. Type of conflict is prescribed conflict of interest, and the action I'll take will leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. I think I added in a couple of words.
You've got to just check your wording there as applied for.
Councillor Edwards is not here at the moment. Next one, please, Kel.
They're on their way, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Ladbrook.
I have a conflict. Item number C1, the description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards, facilities and other available functions. The entity or whatever, Roma Show Society, related relationship category. My spouse, Alana Ladbrook, is an executive member of the Roma Show Society who uses a facility referenced in the proposal. Particulars, line item 3 is a proposal for Bassettes Park Walk Court upgrade, presently page 16. Line item 4 is a proposal to replace ladies' toilet showers block at Bassettes Park, presently page 15. Line item 26 is a proposal for slab replacement of Bassettes Park Hobby Horse Stables, presently page 16, and line item 27 is a proposal for pleasure horse stables replacement, presently page 16. Line item 30 is a proposal for revamp the old horse stalls at Bassettes Park. Example, e.g. Bassett block walls, etc., presently page 16. Line item 20 is a proposal for construction of a storage shed, Bassett's Park, presently page 16. And the type of conflict, I have a prescribed conflict of interest, and the action that I'll be taking, I'll leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on. And the other one, do I go again? Yes. Yep. Another conflict is an item C1, and the description function report is a lot reports laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards, facilities, and other available functions. And it's I who have the conflict, Councillor Wayne George Ladbroke, and the identity is a Roma Turf Club. I am a committee member of the Roma Turf Club, which uses a facility reference in this proposal. The particulars of interest is line item 7 is a proposal for plumbing work at Bassett's Park, presently page 15. Line item 10 is a proposal for Bassett's Park upstairs bar carpets, presently page 15. Line item 17 is a proposal for stormwater upgrade at Bassett's Park racing stables, presently page 15. Line item 24 is a proposal for a dedicated water line for firefighting, presently page 15. Line item 28 is a proposal for Bassett's Park canteen, design only, presently page 15. The type of conflict is a prescribed conflict of interest, and the action I will be taking, I'll leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on.
Okay.
Councillor Edwards.
Councillor Edwards, come on, mate. You're holding up things.
Councillor Edwards will be next when he's ready.
Okay, I have a personal interest in this matter. Item C1, description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring council is Councillor Mark Edwards, related party, myself. Particulars of the interest: I sell oranges at the Calico Cottage, Wallumbilla. Line item 20 includes a project for Calico Cottage with the proposal to complete detailed design for construction drawings, presently page 15. Line item 21 includes a proposal for Wallumbilla Tourism Precinct, which includes the Calico Cottage, presently page 15. Type of conflict prescribed, sorry, that's a declarable. Declarable, sorry. Declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. What's this next one? Okay, a personal interest in this matter. Item C1, description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring councillor is Councillor Mark Edwards. Related party entity is the Roma Aero Club. Relationship category, oh, wait a minute. I'm a member of the... I'm a member of the Roma Aero Club, which uses the facility referenced in the proposal. Particulars of interest, items 4.5.6 and 4.5.8. 4.5.6 identifies new leases for Life Flight and Roma Aero Club hangars, presently page 6. 4.5.8 identifies a briefing to the Roma Aero Club as part of the updated security plan and safety management system, presently page 6. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. The action I'll take will be leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Okay. I'm going to declare on item C1, functions, reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. I'm the declaring councillor. Related party is myself. Particulars of the interest, I'm registered to buy and sell cattle at Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest, and I wish to participate in discussions and decision making. Other councillors will vote on that and any conditions. I think I actually need to put in there, don't I, that I also will respect what council decides. Is there some wording like that, I think? So I'll put in there,
I think it's on that thing, isn't it, Joe?
council's,
I will respect the decision of the meeting.
Didn't we have to
the meeting.
vote on the standing orders first?
They just do the conflicts first and then they'll do it.
Should have we dealt with the other one?
Other councils
All
will
the others
vote
leaving the room, weren't
on that and
before
any
we started
condition.
the sale yards.
We'd just probably take that, just use
It
that
act-
wording,
It
sorry.
says, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe, like it's the whole
Yeah,
thing here. I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Yeah, I think I'd use that wording.
But we've been using this wording for ages, but
Mr Mayor, should we have
Can you just give that wording to Kel and we'll just replicate it?
Should we have done something different before you did yours for the sale yards one or not?
Yes.
That one. This is the first sale yards one, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Should we have done something prior to that one?
Yeah, the change to the standing order. Standing order.
That's what I
yes.
thought.
Yes.
Yes,
So, does it matter?
you're right.
Okay, well, we'll finish this one and then. So have we had any others that have said that?
no.
No, you're the,
No, you're
so
the-
we'll have to go back to,
Okay,
I just left that next bit out.
well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put that one off.
Well, we haven't voted on it yet, so.
No, but yeah, put it off till we deal with.
Well, we haven't. I should have said not, I shouldn't have said we.
No, but it can't be dealt with.
No, that's right, but we could put it off, so it's not dealt with till we look at the standing orders.
As I said, we can do the standing orders because it hasn't been voted on.
So I might just remove my declaration, because we haven't voted on it or anything. How do we do that?
Well,
Is there got to be a motion to council, or can I just,
I don't know, Mr Mayor, wouldn't we just move, we suspend the standing orders for the rest of the meeting before.
There's special wording.
Certainly.
You have
Where's
to
that?
do.
no, we've got the, it's already typed up.
It's here.
It's on that email.
It's on the
Oh, an email.
but would, CEO, would we leave that there, or would we take my declaration out?
We can just leave, it's typed up, Mr Mayor, we can
Right,
just pause
okay.
that and,
Okay, so we'll pause that, and if we've got any, someone wants to move something,
no,
It's on the screen there now,
Oh.
councillor McMullen.
Okay. Mr Mayor, I'll move that pursuant to section 1.2 of the best practice standing orders for local government and standing committee meetings adopted by council on the 14th of October 2020, the standing orders, sections 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 of the standing orders be suspended to enable a non-conflicted councillor or councillors to decide, without the need for a motion to be moved or seconded, whether each conflicted councillor can participate in the decision-making in relation to agenda item C1, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards, facilities and other available functions.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Edwards, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it?
I've just got a question.
Please go ahead.
So through you, Chair, to the CEO. I'm still not clear. I apologise for this because I've just looked up the provision in the Act. But the procedure for council has a declarable conflict of interest. Well, it's evident there are conflicts of interest. Section 150 ES3 says the eligible councillors at the meeting must, by resolution, decide.
Yes, so and it's the standing orders that determine that there has to be a mover and a seconder.
So I'm still putting a the eligible councillors will still put a resolution.
Yes.
Okay.
The eligible councillor or councillors will make a decision on whether the people come or go.
But by resolution.
Yep, so on the screen it says to decide without the need for a motion to be moved or seconded, so you still need the motion.
Still need the motion.
Still the motion, but doesn't need to be
Okay.
moved or seconded.
Yeah, it's the standing orders that creates the issue about the seconding.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, there is still a motion, there is still a resolution.
Yes.
Yep.
You're deciding.
Yeah.
So no opposition, no one wants to speak against it. We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour, 9-0. Okay, now what other conflicts? Well, we have to...
Yours now, I think, Mr Mayor. Because you've started yours, we haven't.
Individual, okay. So did I finish reading it out? I thought I did. I'll get mute them. I'll say the wording. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Your bit of paper.
Well, I don't get to sign that. It's got to be Cameron.
No.
It's got to be Cameron.
So I think, in light of the meeting, I think we do actually have to understand who else has conflicts in the room.
Yeah, otherwise you make it more.
And then come back to deal with them on an individual basis.
Correct.
Correct, because then that shows who's got the ability
Correct.
to...
How many
Oh, I see,
eligible
yeah, okay.
councillors.
Everyone declare and then come back and,
Yeah.
Otherwise you're doing.
okay.
Righto, do we have conflict?
Who's the next one on the list?
I'd like to declare a conflict on C1, functions, reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring councillor as Councillor Joanne Hancock. Related parties is myself and my husband Graham Hancock and our entity GL and JM Hancock, and Hancock Pastoral Company, which is GL and JM, myself and my husband, and PR and KM Hancock, my brother and sister-in-law. Particulars of the interest: the entities are registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict: declarable conflict of interest. Action: although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
I have a conflict on C1. Description is function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring council as myself, Councillor John Burkett. Related party, close associate or other is my parents, Gary and Julie Burkett. Particulars of the interest, my parents are registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict is a declarable conflict of interest. The action is, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do believe a reasonable person could have a perception. I do not, sorry. Believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Right, I have an interest in this matter. Item C1, description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring councillor, Councillor Mark Edwards. Related parties, partnership, Kim Edwards' brother, Mark Edwards and Cameron Edwards' nephew. Particulars of the interest. The partnership is registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. Action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
I have a conflict on C1, functions report, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring councillor as myself, Councillor Wendy Taylor. Related parties is a company, Laoshire Proprietary Limited. Peter and Wendy Taylor are the directors of that company. Particulars of interest, the company is registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict is a declarable conflict of interest. Action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to stay in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
I too have a conflict of interest in item C1. The description is function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Julie Guthrie. The related party is that I'm in a partnership, which is Guthrie Pastoral Group, which includes myself, my husband Ross Guthrie and my son Nicholas Guthrie. Particulars of the interest. This partnership is registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. The type of conflict is declarable conflict of interest, and the action that I would like to take is that I wish to participate in discussion. Sorry, I was just doing too quick, Kel. The action to take is, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
C1, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declaring councillor, myself, Councillor Jeff McMullen, related party myself. Particulars of the interest, I'm registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards, which is one of the functions referenced in the report. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. Action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person would have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
I have a conflict. The item number is C1, description, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities and other available functions. Declarable councillor is Councillor Wayne George Flaherty. The related party or close associate, partnership W&A Ladbroke, my husband and wife, Alana Ladbroke, relationship category, particulars of the interest. The partnership is registered to buy and sell cattle at the Roma sale yards. Type of conflict is a declarable conflict of interest, and the action I will take, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose and remain to stay in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Okay, is that all?
Mr. Megan, I just raise, I think there might have been a mistake in Councillor Hancock's. I don't think it's your brother and sister-in-law, it's your brother-in-law and sister-in-law, is it?
Correct.
I don't know whether Kel was,
There it is, Kel. Brother and sister-in-law.
should be brother-in-law and sister-in-law, I think, was it?
So, yeah, I get what Kel was doing, but it's
Oh,
brother,
she might,
yeah, brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Just take out that one last dash, Kel. Yep. Thank you.
Righto.
Just for you, Mayor, CO, what triggered this in part is what C1 is, but is in fact the fees and charges that was laid on the table at the last ordinary meeting that triggered the identification of conflicts. Are we going to have to repeat this again when that item is tabled? And if so, would it be beneficial to administering this by adding the fees and charges to today's special meeting for it to be considered? Because we simply laid it on the table to get advice on these conflicts.
Fees and charges were almost on the agenda.
But is your thought, Councillor O'Neill, if we put that in the declaration, that other item, then we've declared it?
It needs to be on the, we need to resolve to put it on the agenda first, and then you can add that to the declaration.
I think, could we just adjourn for a moment, just to think through that, because it's just special meetings have got different requirements with respect to discussions held. It's just the timing of when it goes onto the agenda.
Or just forget that I've raised it and we just have to deal with it in a week's time.
I think we're just,
Yeah.
we've got it all done.
But the other question is, could we not declare C2 but not deal with it in the special meeting?
It's not on the agenda.
No, but can we declare something without making a decision?
Well, you can't declare something that's not on the agenda.
Oh, I see where the mayor's going with it, as in just not deal with it today
Not deal with it at
and
all.
carry it over to next.
Just do the declaration on 2 items.
But you have to, the declaration, the conflict arises for what's on the agenda,
well,
not
we
what,
got
not what might be on the agenda. So that's why I've asked,
I
can we
don't
put it
see
on the
seven.
agenda?
Laid on
It
the
is
table.
on the agenda today. The function report is on there.
But the item from the last meeting was sale yards, fees and charges. or some title similar to that. It might complicate it.
Can we just adjourn for,
Yeah, we'll adjourn for 5 minutes. We'll keep going. Right, so we've done all the conflicts as far as I'm aware, and then does anyone wish to move anything?
I will.
Councillor O'Neill.
I resolve that it is in the public interest that Mayor Golder participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest.
Okay, well, does anyone wish to say
No,
anything?
I'll just keep going.
Oh, you're gonna do them all?
Yeah, because you can't do anything. None of you can do anything.
But are you gonna vote on them individually?
You
or
can't.
not?
So
He's the only
I've
one
just
can
voted
talk.
by resolving it.
Oh, right, okay.
You can't do them all together.
There's
like
no
just
vote.
councillor.
I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Burker participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I'll just keep going, Cal. Yeah. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Edwards participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Taylor participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Guthrie participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor McMullen participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Ladbrook participates and votes on C.
She's trying.
Trying.
She's trying.
I've had to reboot this twice today already.
I'll just finish the resolution. I'll start again. I resolve that it is in the public interest that Councillor Ladbrook participates and votes on C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest.
Righto, so the word is resolved, so obviously Kellett's got I vote, but you'll change that. Okay, was that all of the conflicts done?
You need to go into close before that switches off, I suppose. We're good to go?
Yep.
Well, I'll move we go in accordance with provisions of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012. A local government may resolve to close a meeting to the public to discuss confidential items that its councillors or members consider it necessary to close the meeting.
Keep going.
In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following tables provides the matters to be discussed. Agenda item C1, function reports, waste laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards and facilities, and C2, quarter 4 2020-21 budget review, C3, revised debt borrowing policy 2020-21. And C4, rating scenario C, C5, draft 2021-22 whole of council budget overview, and C6, materials and services efficiency policy.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Guthrie. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, C1, function reports, laboratory, airport, quarry, sale yards, facilities and other available functions.
No,
Won't be that heading.
The airport's gonna go.
Will we change the heading?
Yeah,
So
so
the airport came up.
Everyone's been called with laboratory today.
There's quite a few.
You have to think
I
about
did.
Sale yards were in, Cal, but yeah, you've got them all now. Yeah, we did down here.
we'll just change the heading perhaps to function reports. That might be, yeah.
Okay, so C1, you want that wording or function reports?
Yes.
Function reports. Do we have a mover? Councillor Edwards.
Right to go? I'd like to move that council receive and note the function reports for laboratory, quarry, sale yards, town planning, building control and pool safety, and animal control and community safety, emergency management as presented, and proceed to the next stage of inclusion in the relevant statutory documents.
Cal, would you mind just moving the end towards before emergency management? Because we added,
Yeah.
yeah. And then remove the one in front of animal, yeah. Yep, if that's okay, councillor Edwards.
And there's
Yep.
one also after
That's
animal
fine.
control and community safety.
Okay, mover happy with those changes?
Oh, sorry, animal control and community safety, there should be an ampersand in there.
Oh, because they're together.
They're together.
Sorry, Cal, that's my
Yeah.
bad.
And then comma after safety doesn't need to be there because we've added.
Okay, mover's happy. Seconder is councillor Burkett, by the look. And any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Okay, moving on to C2.
And sorry, just to clarify, councillors, in each of these cases, you mean the draft statutory documents, don't you?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
C2, quarter 4, 2020-2021 budget review.
That's that? I've got to get out
No.
first, then.
So, sorry, that was a different heading that the mayor
Yeah,
just read.
we're still in C1,
We're
but we've
We're
separated
going
them
to do a
out.
few more. Okay,
Yeah.
so we won't do C2 yet. Okay, so we got another mover.
Councillor Edwards, it was just the mayor
That's right.
was on a different item.
So what are we on, C1 still?
So this is the function report for airport.
We have a mover, councillor Hancock.
I move that council receive and note the function report for airport as presented and proceed to the next stage of inclusion in the relevant draft statutory documents.
Okay, we have a second, councillor Guthrie. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. Okay,
Mark can come back, can he?
yes, good idea.
Please, Cameron.
Do we have another motion?
So are we out for this one?
No, this is the project listed, this is, we're all here.
Where are we?
So
Everyone's in for this, I think. Councillor Burkett?
I move that the projects as listed and circulated by email to councillors during the meeting.
did the mayor read
No,
the
the mayor hasn't read out the title.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Okay, so what's the total? So it's
Additional.
still not under C1. This is not just an extra motion, or is it a different,
extra heading.
for
it is
C1?
extra heading? So it'd be a different item. What item number or?
It'll just be a new, sorry?
I'll need to renumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
so-
the title is fine, Mr Mayor.
Okay, so this is a different item. Additional projects for consideration, facilities function report, no conflicts of interest exists for listed projects.
On to go.
Please go ahead, councillor
I
Burke.
move that the projects as listed and circulated by email to councillors during the meeting at 3:08 PM be included in the next stage of the relevant statutory documents.
And we'll just add the words draft,
Relevant.
draft.
Draft.
We have a
statutory
seconder,
document.
councillor McMullen. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Okay.
We've all got to move now.
There we go.
So the mayor will have to read
the
the heading,
title.
read the title.
Decision on progression to the next draft of the relevant statutory documents for the balance of the facilities function report.
Back of councillor now, maybe let him know that the conflicted councillors have left.
Yeah, councillor O'Neill, we have just lost the conflicted councillors.
All right. Well, that's me.
Motion.
Well, that's me as well. So I'll just, if someone can just let me know when you've got everyone back, I'll rejoin.
Yeah, so we'll ring you. Is that all right?
Or if someone sends me a message, I'll join back through the Teams.
Okay.
Righto.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well,
I'm happy to move.
we don't, well, no, Mr Mayor, we don't have a quorum.
Quorum.
We've still got, someone's got to read that out, though, haven't they?
Well, no, because everybody
Has to come back.
will have to come in
Ah,
to vote on
right.
that. We don't have a quorum, Mr Mayor.
Righto. So we'll get everyone back then.
Bring councillor O'Neill back.
Thank you, Deputy Director Cam.
Councillor Neil, can you come back in? We don't have a quorum, so we'll have to move something else. Thank you.
What are you getting me back from, George?
I've rejoined.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, councillor O'Neill. Do we have anyone to move? Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that in accordance with section 150 EU 2A of the Local Government Act 2009, that the local government delegate deciding the matter to the Chief Executive Officer in accordance with section 257(1)(b) in respect to the facilities function.
We have a
That's all I
seconder.
have to say, is it?
Councillor Hancock, do you want
In respect to the remainder of the
the
facility
balance,
functions
of
report?
the,
Yeah.
yeah,
In respect to the
to the
balance
balance of
of the
the
facilities
function.
functions report.
Okay. In respect to the balance of the facilities function report.
Is that next bit got to be in it too?
No.
No, that's the next one.
Okay, we have a seconder, councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Okay, so we have, so is it a different title or,
No, we've got to move that, haven't we?
It's just to move to deal with them both together, that
and that's
council
a
combine.
procedural motion?
Oh, I think we'll just have a mover and second, Mr Mayor.
Okay, but do we have a title to read out or not really? Is it still to do with the last one?
It's just to combine agenda items C2 and C3.
Righto, so this is about combining agenda items C2 and C3. Councillor Hancock.
I move that council combine the consideration of agenda items C2, Q4 2020/21 budget review, and C3, revised debt borrowing policy 2020-21.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Okay. So quarter four, 2020-2021 budget review and revised debt borrowing policy 2020/21. Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 adopt the quarter 4 2020/21 budget amendments as presented. 2, adopt the revised financial statements for quarter 4 2020/21 budget amendments as shown in the report's attachments. Review policy 2020/21, review statement 2020/20.
Revenue?
Oh, sorry. Revenue statement 2020/21, revised budget financial statements 2020/21 and following 2 years, revised budget financial statements 2020/21 and following 9 years, revised financial sustainability ratios 2020/21, total value of change in rates and charges, and that the documents be placed on the council website as listed. 3, amend the borrowing policy 2020/21 to remove the purchase land and building loan and replace with the sale yards loan to upgrade 700 metres of auctioneer walkways at Roma Sale Yards.
And the revenue policy was the first one, the same.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
At the top one?
Yeah.
Revenue policy
Policy
2020/21.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Taylor, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. So we're moving on to C.
Page 82.
Oh, but I think we've changed it on here.
82. C4, rating scenario C. I'd like to move.
Mr. Mayor, could I just ask that Kelly just scrolls down so I can
Sure.
read it? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to move that Council 1 receive and note the information requested for Resolution OM/06.2021/41. 2, defer the next stage of modelling until after the 30th of June 2021. And then next point, Scenario C, move forward with the additional option of Scenario A with capping and brought back to Council after the 30th of June 2021. Approve for officers to undertake further modelling to provide a recommendation to Council.
To me? Can I just correct, Kelly's highlighted, you said requested for resolution?
Oh,
From.
Yeah, I'll just say that. Receive and note the information requested from Resolution OM/06.2021/41. Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Burkett, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? Councillor O'Neill? We might have lost Councillor O'Neill.
No, sorry, I had it muted. I apologise.
No problem. We'll do the vote again. All those for?
Yes.
All those against? Okay, it's 7-2 if I can call for division.
Who moved and seconded Mayor and Lewis?
Okay. Now, moving on.
Councillors, it's probably worth just adding in that council note the information provided in the report as provided by that same resolution number, because there was 3 components to that. So as whatever we just did for the previous report, note the information requested from resolution. Yeah. note the information requested and received.
Okay, subject heading, C5, draft 2021-22 whole of council budget overview. Do we have a mover? Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that council note the information requested from resolution OM/06.2021/41 and received.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ladbrook, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. C6, material services and efficiency policy.
The same one as a starting point for the however the mayor wants to amend it from there.
I'd like to move that council receive and note the officer's information provided in the report. Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion?
Just a question, Mr Mayor, do we not need to have that resolution number in it?
Oh, no, I'm happy to put that in there. And note the information requested from resolution OM/06.2021/41. Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Edwards, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? I'm going to go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against?
Against.
6-3 if I can call for a division. Any further business, councillors? Thank you for your attendance.